that. But the ministry has said that it has invested heavily in Ghana football or in sports in general. And it's saddening to see that there are no fruits being born or it's not bearing fruits. Do you agree that the sector has seen massive investment that would require the bearing of fruits as we were expecting at Cote d'Ivoire?
Well, I think the reference to investment was specifically to the Black Stars and not to football in general in the country, because it cannot be that the ministry was referring to a significant investment in football in general in the country. Infrastructure is poor, coaching is poor, there's no holistic plan. All the money has gone towards caring for the Black Stars qualifiers, trips, basically just that. So I find it a bit strange that a statement would emerge that there's significant amounts of money have been spent on the general state of the game in the country.
So to be fair, they said that over the years, the ministry invested or wholeheartedly supported our national teams.
Exactly.
But then they said the Black Stars in particular. So maybe they say they've given maybe 100, but 90 perhaps goes to the Black Stars.
Exactly, which underlines the problem that I've always spoken about. The fact that the government has always looked at the Black Stars as Ghana football and nothing else. Meanwhile, a lot of things need to happen before the Black Stars succeed. And in the statement that has been released, at least there is a tacit admission or an explicit admission of sorts that all is not right with the game and that perhaps they need to do a lot more than they have done at the very basic level to get the game to the level where the Black Stars can succeed. And I am surprised that it has taken back-to-back first round exits at the AFCON to get the government to finally listen to people. Because, Umaru, to be honest, what has not been said in the past 5 or 6 years about the nature of football? In fact, some of the things that the government mentions that it is going to do, undertake a diagnosis, if I am being accurate, that is what the statement said, that it is going to undertake a diagnosis of what the problem with stakeholders. Umaru, how long ago was the Jarafa Commission report? Not very long ago. We've had a document as well that dealt with basically how the national teams should run. None of those documents have been implemented. So it's not as if the ministry is now going to ask questions about, what is wrong? What can be done? Those questions have been asked for several years, and those questions have been answered for several years. There has just been the lack of will by the main actors, that is the ministry, its technical directors, the National Sports Authority, to put in place a plan that is actionable for these things to work. Most of the time, Umaru, the problem is this. The ministry engages in short-termism because they will tell you, well, we have 4 years or 8 years to carry out an agenda. The only way you can mark success is at tournaments, hence the significant investment in the national team. But it has been said several times that the only way we can actually succeed is with a solid foundation. We've spent the last decade not doing that, and we are paying the price for it. So again, like I said, it's interesting that the ministry will put out a statement that says, we are now going to consult. I don't think that's necessary. We've done a lot of consultation. The documents are there. Refer to it and act. Some of them are very recent. These are not 20-year-old documents, Mark. Some of the documents are old as 2 years old. Some of them are 3 years old. Most of these reviews have been done in the past 5 years. So what has changed? Nothing. The government does not need to sit down to ask stakeholders anything. In fact, I think that would be a waste of money. Just take the document and enforce some of the salient aspects of those documents, and we can make progress.
So you believe that this exercise, and we don't know what nature is going to take, we don't know if it will go the Jamefe or a sole commissioner way, or they are just going to move around taking views. You are saying that to begin with, go to the Jamefe report and don't waste everybody's time going back to look for what you already have.
Umaru, when we went out of the last AFCON, the last one that was held recently, not this one, the last one that was held, there was a full parliamentary probe. There is a report. The captain of the national team, Andrea Ayew, appeared before that committee. The minister appeared before that committee. All kinds of persons appeared before that committee. Umaru, that is not 2 years, that is less than 2 years ago. Recommendations were made by the Parliamentary Sports Committee on Sports from those hearings. What happened? What diagnosis did they make? What recommendations did they make? Nobody has acted on those things. So I am interested in seeing what form this diagnosis takes, which stakeholders are being invited again, over which period, for them to go into conclave and come out with solutions. I think it's not really necessary. What needs to be done is known by everybody, which is why over the past 5 years, most people with knowledge on the matter have explained and have preferred solutions as to how things can be done. So I think what the ministry can do is to take a cue from these documents that are available, to take a cue from the suggestions from various stakeholders who have spoken on these matters over the past couple of years, and just act on them. They don't need too much help. The help has already been given over the years.
There is a view from some quarters that to fix Ghana football, we need to burn it down to the ground and start afresh like the Phoenix does. But it appears that's not what we're going to see. The GFA is already on a hunt for a new coach to put on top of the very mess we are complaining about. Do you think that looking for a new coach should be the priority now, or the GFA's, the ministry's approach should be the priority, or both can be considered, or we should shut it down completely and start afresh?
Well, I think both can be done at the same time. Of course, the team cannot be left without a coach because the team has games. The team has to play Argentina and and China, if I'm not mistaken, in March. That's 2.5 months away. Then in June, they have World Cup qualifiers. So there's a significant level of activity for the national team. So you cannot leave them as they are. So, of course, a coach has to be brought in. But I think that the government's role in all this is to collaborate more extensively with the Ghana Football Association in asking questions. What kind of coach are you bringing? Why are you bringing this kind of coach? What exactly is the long-term plan for bringing in this kind of person? Have those kinds of conversations. It's not just about, can he deliver results in a World Cup qualifier? Can he help us beat Argentina in March? Normally, those are the kinds of questions we are looking at. I think the questions have to be a bit more deeper and a bit more salient. I don't believe in the burning down completely because it brings too much trouble. And at the moment, we have not shown the capacity to burn it down and rebuild it properly. Who is going to rebuild it? The same people who have shown a lack of capacity to even maintain it at the top. So why are we going to trust them with breaking it down and building it again? I don't think that is the solution. But what the government needs to do at this point, tomorrow, I think, is to find a cohesive working relationship and enforce its strength. See, the problem is this. The government has convinced itself that its only role is to pay for the national team. Hence the statement that you read, where the government says that over the years, it has spent a considerable amount of money investing in the success of the Black Stars, and this has not been repaid. That is what the government has considered investing. That is not it. The government has a lot more, a bigger role to play in what happens with school sports. What is the collaboration like? The government has not been able to integrate the link between the Ghana Football Association and its own assigns, that is the Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service, and their school sports directory. Those are the kinds of conversations that need to happen if we are to make progress.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Godfred Akoto Boafo is in the football sector in Ghana Football Administration, and also